In the 13 colonies, enslaved people who had escaped had always risked harsh punishment or death. But in Virginia, in 1775, the odds changed. Freedom was on offer to any man who was prepared to fight his former enslavers. The royal governor of Virginia, the Earl of Dunmore, was outraged by the Patriots and their defiance of the crown. In November of 1775, he issued a proclamation offering freedom to all indentured servants, Negroes, and others able and willing to bear arms. Virginia was rapidly becoming Patriot territory. Dunmore relocated to a Navy ship, where he commanded a small force of Marines and Loyalist militia. They secured a small fleet of boats and started patrolling Virginia's rivers and bays, enlisting enslaved men who had escaped their masters. So many signed up that Dunmore founded a regiment of black soldiers, the Ethiopian Regiment. None of its soldiers were actually from Ethiopia. In the 1700s, Ethiopian was a widely used term to describe anyone with African roots. We know very little about any of the individual members, as no records were kept. But we know that one, Harry Washington, had escaped from George Washington's plantation and taken the name of his former enslaver. Another, Titus Cornelius, later became the famous guerrilla fighter, Colonel Ty. They were led by white officers, and after a failed attack against Patriot forces at Great Bridge, they spent months sailing Virginia waterways, raiding Patriot properties. By the winter of 1776, they were confronting a new enemy, smallpox. Black communities were particularly affected by the disease, and many of the fighters fell ill or died. It was the end for Dunmore's Virginian campaign. He took his forces to New York and disbanded the Ethiopian Regiment. The experiment in recruiting enslaved men was short-lived. And while his proclamation had given freedom to all the men who joined the regiment, Dunmore was never a champion of civil rights. He didn't offer freedom to people enslaved by Loyalist plantation owners. And he himself was an enslaver. Dunmore's real aim was likely political. He hoped that the fear of a slave revolt would keep Virginian landowners loyal to the crown. In fact, for many, it had the opposite effect, driving them to join the Patriots.